Mais c'est un chiffre bien maigre, comparé à celui des femmes enceintes ou qui viennent d'accoucher, qui pourraient être droguées si le dépistage psychiatrique en venait à être une obligation légale.
And when a woman is pregnant, right during the pregnancy, specifically right afterwards, her hormones are changing and sometimes raging. And to screen them and call it mental illness, if they have any type of emotional issues in any way, shape, or form, is utterly ludicrous.
Même sans loi qui rende le dépistage obligatoire, les femmes enceintes peuvent faire l'objet de tests de dépistage à leur insu. Voici des femmes qui ont été interviewées après être sorties de chez leur docteur.
Have you ever been screened for mental illness?
I have not been screened for mental illness.
No, I've never been screened for any mental illness.
I don't remember any pre-screening.
I have not been.
No.
No. Have you ever been screened for any mental illness?
No, I have not been screened for any mental illness.
Did your OB/GYN or gynecologist have you fill out a questionnaire that contains psychological questions?
Yes, my OB/GYN did give me a questionnaire that has psychological questions.
I've never been screened for mental illness. Yes, I would say the first time I went to see my OB/GYN, I did fill out questionnaires about even family medical history, my mental state.
I've not been screened for any mental illness or depression. I took a questionnaire at my 6-week checkup, and it basically asked me about if I was crying, if I felt depressed.
Yeah, it was a questionnaire about depression. If you're depressed, or if you had any history of depression.
Are you happy with your normal day? Are you happy about being pregnant?
Or have you ever hurt yourself? Or are you happy? If I feel like hurting someone, if I was angry.
Do mental illness run in your family?
You know, it was very noticeable to me after the pregnancy that they're actually fishing for the postpartum depression.
When I was pregnant with my daughter, before I had her, I had to take postpartum depression medicine from my 7th month on to my 9th month.
À quoi ce dépistage nous mène-t-il? À des programmes peu connus qui visent à droguer la population. Un programme du genre de celui établi au Texas en 1995. Le projet algorithmique de médication du Texas, ou TMAP.
TMAP is a program that was originated starting in the 90s, a collaborative group of doctors from University of Texas and the Texas Department of Mental Health and Mental Retardation. And what it was supposed to do was come up with the best practice for treating mental illness.
Utilisant les fonds alloués à la recherche de 11 compagnies pharmaceutiques, ce conseil, constitué en majorité de psychiatres, établit un schéma étape par étape qui exigeait que seulement les derniers et les plus onéreux des psychotropes soient prescrits aux patients qui souffraient de problèmes mentaux. Si un psychotrope ne marchait pas, les médecins étaient obligés d'en essayer un autre tout aussi cher. Si aucun ne marchait, alors on passait au traitement par électrochoc. Mais ceux qui dirigeaient le programme TMAP étaient secrètement impliqués dans un important conflit d'intérêts.
They didn't disclose that the researchers that were all involved in creating this, almost every single one of them had financial relationships with the pharmaceutical companies.
Mais le Texas n'est pas le seul État où la corruption sévit. Alan Jones était un investigateur du bureau de l'inspecteur général de l'État de Pennsylvanie.
I learned that these monies were all coming in to the state to support and to promote a program called TMAP, the Texas Medication Algorithm Project. And so my concern was piqued very quickly that there was at least one state official who might be inappropriately receiving and dispersing monies from drug companies. They called it PenMap, but it was based entirely on the TMAP model. Also very quickly, I learned that there were other state employees who were serving on advisory boards financed through various pharmaceutical companies, and other state employees who were accepting honorariums personally, directly, from drug companies for speaking in their state capacities or official capacities. That's a felony in Pennsylvania. I saw there was a much bigger picture and attempted to surface that bigger picture and was consistently told to back off. I was told that drug companies write checks to politicians on both sides of the aisle. Back off. You will not expand this investigation into the drug companies. Continued to press the investigation, much of it on my own time at this point. I became increasingly alarmed that all of the drugs recommended by the TMAP program were exclusively the new patented atypical antipsychotics for schizophrenia and all of the brand new patented SSRI antidepressants, none of it added up. When it became obvious to me that my investigation was not going to be permitted to continue, and it became obvious to the Inspector General's office that I was not going to stop, I was removed from lead investigator on the case. They threatened me with loss of career, with loss of job, with loss of reputation, essentially.
Bien que l'investigation ait abouti par la condamnation du pharmacien en chef de l'État de Pennsylvanie, le programme TMAP et d'autres comme le PENMAP se multiplient, rapportant des milliards de dollars aux compagnies pharmaceutiques. Mais le filon qu'a trouvé la psychiatrie coûte cher au grand public. En 2001, le TMAP et son équivalent chez les enfants, le CMAP, ont mis en faillite le programme d'assistance médicale, Medicaid, le système carcéral et le système de santé mentale du Texas. À quoi ressemble donc le tableau final? Voilà un programme de dépistage exécuté aux frais du contribuable, dirigé par le gouvernement et dans le cadre duquel toute personne qui, d'après un psychiatre, est affectée d'un trouble mental se voit donner des psychotropes dangereux, puissants et onéreux. Et si ces derniers sont inefficaces, un traitement électrochoc.
They're going to start with school children on the new Freedom Initiative. Then they're going to move it to senior citizen nursing homes. Then they're going to move it to, of course, military. And then parents.
By the time you're 18, you've been screened in utero when you were an infant. You were screened as an infant when you first came out. You were screened in your daycare. You were screened then at school. You were screened at the pediatrician's office. You're screened in high school. You're screened over and over again.
And to sit there and pass laws requiring that people be screened and drugged based on screening under state law or federal law is really, it's criminal. It should not be done.
They're marketing this madness all over this country, and we are actually becoming an example for the rest of the world. So we're, again, the poster child, if you will, and so the rest of the world is spending more and more on drugs.
I don't know that there was ever a time in the history of the world where people have been drugged to the extent of what we're seeing today.
The reality is, if you look at the overall picture, I don't see these drugs helping us make a better society. We see it in the military, we see it in our children, we see it in the schools. These drugs are not working to make a better society.
Avec toutes ces campagnes de marketing cachées sur les troubles mentaux, qu'arrive-t-il au patient une fois qu'il a été diagnostiqué et qu'il est entré dans l'engrenage de cette machine à psychotropes?